Hello all, how's everybody doing? Hopefully good. Well, we're almost there. If you guys remember from last time, we brought this data over from our SAT file. Now we need to bring over the tuition information. Same process, so this should be a little bit easier, but let's go through the lesson. Now I want to tab over to my tuition file. So it's hold down Alt, tab. We're going to find our tuition file. And that should be it. Perfect. So we have our tuition fees. Oh, well, our unique identifier, very important. Tuition 2 was the in-state tuition and fees. This was for out-of-state tuition 3. And 6 and 7 was for graduate students. Okay, same thing as we did before. Let's go over to cell B1. And we need to copy the headers. So how do we do that? So we press shift, we're holding down shift, we're holding down control, and right arrow. Highlights the entire row to the end of the data set, correct? Now we're pressing control C to copy, and then alt tab, we're holding down alt, tab over. We need to find our our main file, our directive file, and then we press enter. Now we covered over the headers. We haven't discussed this, but it's one of those things that you use quite often. It's called freeze frames. So it says it'll freeze wherever I put the freeze frame. It'll freeze over anything to the left or to the top of whichever cell. So if I pick to freeze frame here, it'll freeze everything above here and everything to the left. So let's try it. There's a shortcut key. It's Alt W F and F again. So that freezes a frame. So let's check it out. Control down. As you can see, the top 3 rows did not move. However, we're all the way at the bottom. And then we control up to get back to the right, top. And then we could go control right to the end of the data set. And if we keep on using our right arrow key, as you can see, our first 4 columns do not move. Go back, that's freeze frame. Again, let me go ahead and show you the shortcut key is Alt W F F. Alt, I'm holding down Alt, W, I'm not holding Alt anymore, and F. That's freeze frame. Now, I want to bring in the tuition data, correct? Same as we did up here. That's why we have the formula. You could read it as look at and get whatever matches in cell A1 inside the file of IC210 in this range. Bring in number 2. Remember J2 was the number 2, the second column, and then false says I need to bring it in as exact match. So let's write a formula for tuition. Equal VLOOKUP, and then I press home. It's going to take me to the left. I want to get to cell A4, and I want to use, I press F4 once. Remember that anchors both A and 4. I just want to anchor column A, so I press F4 again. That's not what I want. I press F4 one more time. That's exactly what I want. So I put a comma, then I get to the next argument, which is table array. I want to go to the tuition file. I hold down Alt, Tab, and this is my tuition file. I use my arrow to go down. Now I have to pick my range. So I'm holding down, I'm going to cell A2. I'm holding shift control. I'm still holding it. Right arrow. I'm still holding shift and control. down arrow. Highlights the entire data set that I want. So I put comma again. I have to press enter because I can't tab over while I'm writing a formula. It gives me an error. Well, the error is fine. I step into the formula by pressing F2. Remember, stepping into the formula is F2. Otherwise, I would have to use my mouse and do that. I don't want to do that. I want to use my keyboard. So I press F2 to get in. You see the blinking cursor? That means I'm in the formula itself. I use my arrow to the left, and there's my cursor. Same formula as before. I'm going to go up here and actually do this already. I'm going to say let it equal, look up the column, whatever equals K1. Well, with K1, I want to still anchor some of this, anchor the row itself. So that is how I say K can move, but not one, not row. And I put comma in that argument and false because I want an exact match. So it still says pound value, meaning there is no number or there's an error in the formula. Actually, there's not an error in the formula. It says there's no number to bring in. So we need to put some numbers up here. Same thing as before. I'm sorry. The formula is incorrect. So how do I fix the formula? I go to the cell itself, K4. I press F2. As you can see, this is highlighted. You see how blue, that cell is highlighted in blue, that cell is highlighted in green, and it corresponds with what's in the formula? Well, I want to move this down one. So I could just bring that down one, and the 2 change from a 1. Can you see that? Okay, so I press enter. Same thing as before. I know I want to pick column 2, 3, well, I want to pick column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I had before was a formula. What I'm doing now is I go to cell E2, Shift, Control. I'm holding Shift and Control, right arrow, highlights everything that activates everything within that range. I Control C, which is Control Copy. I'm holding Control. I press C. I copied it over. Control right goes to the end of the data set, and I want to go to column K. I press enter. Copies over the numbers, same formula, and then I go to cell P2, Control C. I am holding down Control, press C. I'm holding down Shift, and I'm using my right arrow, 1, 2, and I press enter. Copies the formula over. So now, as you can see, it's reading as look up what's in A4 inside the tuition file in column 2 if it matches exactly. Exactly meaning if this matches the tuition file's unique identifier. I press enter. Now I want to copy over the formula to the end. I press enter. I'm pressing Shift, Control, right, and Control C. Alright? I want to fill in the rest of the information here. So how do I do that? I press left arrow, Control down. I'm holding Control, arrow down, and then Shift, Control, or holding Shift and Control, holding it down, up arrow. I'm letting everything go and press enter. Look at that, it populates it. Fantastic. The NAs means there's no data. There's no data to pull. This unique identifier is not present in our tuition file. That means a number of things. Most likely the institution didn't report their numbers. They don't have to. It's voluntary. All right. Once again, we want to hard code this, but we also want to save the formula. So I go to cell K4, Shift Control, I'm holding Shift and Control, right arrow, and then Control C. And I go to cell K1, press enter. I copy the formula down. Just in case I need the formula again. It's one of those situations that you never know. Um, like we talked about hard coding your data, you don't want the numbers to move, and then also it tries to pull the numbers from the other file every time you refresh it. It's just extra memory that you don't need. Try to make it as efficient as possible. I want to hard code all this data. How would I go about doing it? It goes back to navigating with your keyboard, right? Shift, Control, right. Highlights the entire row from uh, cell K4 all the way to R, column R. Now I copy, actually, sorry. Now I want to highlight the entire data set that I want to hard code, correct? So I press Shift Control down. Now the data set that has all the formulas are highlighted at this point. I want to hard code these numbers. So I copy, which is Control C. I want to paste special values. Paste special values meaning I want to paste it, but just the values, not the formula. So how do you go about doing that? It's Alt E S V. Oh, sorry. Alt E S V. Oh. Alt E S V. I was pressing A. Sorry about that. Once again, that's Alt E. I'm holding Alt, pressing E, then I let go Alt S, then V, and press enter. Okay, we hard coded these numbers once again. Wonderful. We're gonna probably stop at this point. Next lesson, we are gonna go ahead and cover pivot tables. We're almost done. I say another 5%. Pivot tables, you could spend years trying to learn different functions within it. For our purposes, we're gonna make it very, very simple. Okay, we'll see you next time.